So since the weather outside is, well, frightful, I decided to stay inside and I hope to read a lot because today is the 29th of July, so I have still 3 days to go until the next month starts, and I would just like to read a lot of books before the month ends. So I'm currently still reading the TJ Klune book, In the Lives of Puppets. I don't have too much to go, just like a little bit under 200 pages, so I hope to finish that today, and then I want to pick a lot of these very short books from the small shelf that I have. So yeah, let's just pull them all out. So these are all the books to choose from in the next few days. And yeah, let's see how many I'll accomplish to read. Probably not a lot of them, but yeah, I'll try to read some of them for sure. But before that, I obviously have to finish this one. So, as I've said, I don't have a lot to go through, and it is very fast paced, even though there's not a lot of plot. You just fly through the pages, so that's great. And yeah, as I've said in my last video, I'm not the biggest fan of these sexual jokes in here, but everything else is perfect. I love all the Pinocchio references and how it is quite similar to it, but also very different from it and very unique. And yeah, I love the characters. Just the jokes are sometimes a little bit weird and over the top. I especially love Rambo. He's so freaking cute. And yeah, I'm excited to finish this book now. So it's been a few hours now, and I'm on page 329, so I only have 90 pages more to go. 6 p.m. right now. I started this video at roughly 2 p.m. So yeah, it's been 4 hours. I again enjoy the book so far. It's very reminiscent of the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer, so if you enjoy that, I think this book would be perfect, because this is also science fiction, fantasy, and a fairy tale retelling. So yeah, I don't know why I've never thought about the comparison before that, but yeah, it really reminds me of the Lunar Chronicles, which is a great thing because I love that series. I like that it is more plot driven at this point and not so much character driven anymore. It took like, I don't know, maybe a third of the book to really get the plot started, but yeah, since then there's been a lot of plot, and now with the Blue Fairy stuff going on, it's a lot of plot. So yeah, it's really interesting. I again like the group very much, and I like how the Pinocchio references are there, but they always turn out to be so different from what you're expecting them to be, if you know the Pinocchio story. So yeah, that's really cool. And yeah, I'm excited to see how it ends, and if it's going to be a very happy ending or something more sentimental. Who knows? I think it's going to be a happy ending, but who knows? Who knows? Who knows? As long as Rambo is fine in the end, I'm fine. Yeah, he's my favorite character for sure. He's stupid, but so cute at the same time, and I love him. So yeah, I'll check in with you when I'm finished with the book. I just finished the book and it was quite emotional. I've cried for multiple times. I didn't expect it at all because the whole story felt very wholesome and funny up until the last few chapters. So yeah, it was very unexpected, but it ended in the best way that it realistically could, and I love everything about it. So yeah, I don't know, I'm still at a loss for words, and I still am very emotional, and yeah, it's great. I'm excited to read more by the author now, and yeah, I can highly recommend the book. It's awesome, and it's not a happy ending, which I thought it would get, but I like that it didn't. So yeah. And also the acknowledgements were great. Don't skip them if you've read the book, because there's some interesting stuff in there. For example, the whole thing was inspired by, well, basically Rambo from the book, which is so cool because he is my favorite character in the end. And yeah, but I love all the characters in it. And that's coming from someone who doesn't like character-driven stories, but yeah, there are always exceptions, and this is certainly one of them. I won't give it 5 stars, unfortunately, because I just didn't like all the sexual stuff in there, be it the jokes or just something that was mentioned in the story. So yeah, I'm not talking about the sexuality representation. That was fine. I don't have anything against that. It's just the sex everywhere. And yeah, apart from that perfection, for sure, I don't have anything that I didn't like about the book. So yeah, 4.5 stars for me out of 5 stars. And yeah, as I said, excited to read more by the author, and I'm glad I was able to read a very big chunk just today. I mean, it was like almost 200 pages that I've just read. So yeah, loved that. And yeah, now we can look at the short books and decide which book I'll read next. So I don't want anything that has to do with a set emotional story in it, that's for sure. And I don't know, I'm feeling horror right now. So most of the horror is right here. So we have the Jack Ketchum book, for example, or Paul Tremblay, but this is not very short, maybe later. And Shirley Jackson, some classics. And then What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher's also, well, gothic. But yeah, the real horror book would be Jack Ketchum. Let's go with Jack Ketchum. Why not? I don't know what the book's title is in English, so let's find out. That's the cover from the publisher Heine in Germany, and the original title doesn't say right here, but here it should be somewhere. Right to Life. Wait, I'm confused. Are these short stories? Okay. Right to Life. Yeah, okay. Originally published by Cemetery Press in 1998, and it looks like it's short stories, but I'm here for it. I love short stories, so maybe it's 3 short stories. I don't know. I'm confused, but I'll find out if I start reading it. Okay, so I finished the first chapter, which was 30 pages long, so quite a long first chapter. And I can tell you now what this book is actually about, because I don't read synopsis before I start the book, because it feels like spoilers. And yeah, this is basically a 180 long novella, and then it also has two short stories in it, which are 10 pages long each. So yeah, it's basically just one book with some bonus material, you could say. And yeah, I've read 30 pages of the novella, which is set in the same year as the book was published, so love that. And it follows a couple, and we have an affair going on between these two because the man is married to someone else and the woman is pregnant. So she goes to a hospital at the beginning of the book to get an abortion, basically. So the man is driving her there, and she hops off the car, goes to this hospital, but she never enters the building because she's snapped away by someone in some kind of van, I think it was. And yeah, I mean, it just took a few minutes of the man not being there to see what was happening, because he just wanted to find a place to put his car, and then he was meant to follow her into this clinic to be by her side while doing what she was planning to do. But yeah, the kidnapping happened in between that. So yeah, that's basically the first chapter. We also read from both perspectives, and yeah, the man is now calling the police, trying to find out what was happening and where his girlfriend is. And yeah, I don't know what is going on with the woman. This will be discussed in the second chapter, I would say. So yeah, really interesting premise. I'm excited to see where it will lead. So yeah, it's nothing too unique of a premise, but if it's done well, it doesn't have to be. So yeah, just depends on what will happen next. The writing style was good, not outstanding, but not bad as well. I'm used to really bad writing style in extreme horror novels. Maybe that will happen in the future, but so far the writing style is completely normal. It has some atmosphere in it, and it's not as informal as some other extreme horror books. So yeah, but Jack Ketchum is meant to be a very good author, so I didn't expect anything else. It's midnight now, and yeah, I need to do some other things as well. Need to eat something and also watch some YouTube and also work out for an hour. And yeah, if I still have some time left after that, I will obviously read some more or maybe draw some more. I have to do some pictures as well to finish my annotated and illustrated version of Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. So yeah, not sure what I will do. I know my sleeping schedule is very chaotic. It'll change soon enough, but for now I can stay up as late as I want to, and I am literally doing that. I go to sleep when the sun is rising again, so yeah, I'll have some time later on, but I'm not sure how I'll use it. So yeah, I've read a couple more pages. I'm almost halfway through now, but I will go to bed now because it is 5 a.m. and I do need some sleep. But yeah, it has really turned into an extreme horror book now, and it's crazy. And even though I've read a few extreme horror books similar to it, it's always possible that it again happened to be very different from every other book. And yeah, I mean, I can't spoil anything, but it's now only written from the kidnapper and the woman's perspective, and what she's experiencing is brutal, to say the least, and nothing that I want to experience ever in my life, but it's fun to read about, kind of. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm flying through it, and yeah, I'm excited to see how it ends, if she'll get out of there alive or not. I mean, the book is called Alive in German, so yeah, maybe that's a good sign, maybe not. But yeah, I'll update you in the morning when I'm finished with the book. So I just finished the book, and I do have some thoughts. So there was a cat in the book, and I loved the cat. That was one of the best parts in the book. And there's nothing cruel happening to the cat, so if you're still figuring out if you want to pick up the book and you don't like if animals are harmed, don't worry, it's not happening in here. The cat is just very cute, and I also loved all the horror in it. There was a lot of different stuff happening in there, and it was never described in too much detail, so if you don't like that, this is not a problem as well. I do like detailed descriptions, but it somehow worked in this one. It's still effective, even if the act itself, as well as the feelings and thoughts of the characters involved in it, are not really described. But yeah, it was horrifying and brutal and all that kind of stuff, and had some unique qualities in it as well that I enjoyed. And I mean, there are two kidnappers really, a woman and a man. But yeah, the man was just disgusting. Such a bad human. And the woman was, I mean, bad as well. Obviously, kidnapping someone is never good. But she did have some qualities in her that didn't make her into a complete monster, as the man was, in my opinion. So yeah, I was hoping for an ending that would involve maybe something that's quite a bad ending, but not the worst. I mean, the worst ending would be if the main character just dies. You learn a lot about all the characters in it, the kidnapped woman, but also the two kidnappers, why they kidnap her, and just what they want in life, and the struggles between their relationship as well. So that was nice to know. There's also the talk of this kind of organization that is seeing everything they do and giving them tasks and whatsoever. I didn't like that so much because it really felt like, I don't know, spy action movies thing, and I don't really like that, but maybe others would like it, I don't know. And then some things are also not really realistic in terms of just, if you're being kidnapped, how would you act in certain situations, both from the point of view of the kidnappers as well as the person being kidnapped. There was just some stuff that didn't really make sense to me. I'll put these events probably in my Goodreads reviews because I just don't want to spoil anyone. But I would have acted differently in some of these scenes. But yeah, apart from that, a nice, very fast-paced story about someone being kidnapped, being pregnant while there, and it also has some references to religion in it, but not very much. But yeah, it's just a very simple but well-told story in most of the aspects. As I've said, didn't like the spy stuff and some of the unrealistic events, but apart from that, it was nice. I still have to read the 2 short stories, so still around 20 pages to go. Maybe my opinion will change. I have no idea what these are about. The titles sound like it's from the same story, but maybe it's something completely different. I don't know. I will find out, and yeah, maybe my opinion will change. For now, I'm thinking of this being like a 3.5 star book. Nothing bad at all, but it didn't blow me away. So yeah. And also, we're now at the second day of this reading vlog. So we have the 30th of July now, and it's already quite late. So it's almost 7 p.m. now. So I've read the first short story, and it's not connected to the novella. So yeah, it's this one, Brave Girl, which was written 4 years later. And yeah, it was just a short story about a girl who was calling the police because her mother was in the bathroom and hurt herself. It was interesting, but not really something that surprised me in any way. And yeah, now I'll read the last short story, which was also published in 2002, and it's called Returns. So, and then I'll be done with the book finally, and can start something new. And I'm done with the book. How many pages? 220-ish. And it took me way longer than I wanted to, but yeah. Read the second short story, which was also standalone, you could say. And it was about a woman who is in her home, and she has a cat that she doesn't like, and she's also kind of haunted by her deceased boyfriend, I think it's her husband. And yeah, just the story of that ghost and the woman and the cat. And yeah, I don't know, I don't think it's horror in any way. So yeah, it was something. Yeah, it didn't give me anything really. So let's find the next book. I still have so many to get to. I really need something that is very fast paced or very short. I think I'm gravitating towards a mythology book now. Maybe these short stories, but I don't know. I don't want to read short stories just yet, but maybe after Wait. So this is a retelling of Atlas and Heracles, as the subtitle says, and yeah, these are always very short. They are part of a series written by different authors on different topics. A lot of Greek myths in there, but also other stuff. And yeah, I'll be reading that now, just because it's quite short. But yeah, not even 200 pages. So yeah. Okay, so I've read like half of the book now of Wait by Janet Winterson, and yeah, I mean, it's very fast paced. It started out very philosophical, and it really has a very distinct writing style that wasn't easy to get into it, but yeah, after a few pages it felt like reading just a normal story. Like, there was an introduction just talking about how the author came up with the idea to write about Atlas and Heracles. That was cool to know. And then there's like a prologue talking about how the world was created, and also all the biological stuff about the bacteria, which was also cool. Could be very info dumpy for others, but I loved that. It's just the first inner thoughts of Atlas felt, I don't know, just philosophical and unique. But yeah, it was hard to get used to it. But yeah, once Atlas and Heracles meet, it's normal story. We have the perspective of Atlas and also of Heracles, which is very nice. Heracles sounds like a bitch. Like, literally. But it's funny and self-aware, so I like that. And there's also a lot of Hera in it. So far I like the retelling very much. It's quite fast-paced, as all of these books are, for sure. But yeah, it's always nice to read a retelling. I like that Heracles isn't shown as the hero and good guy, because he really isn't. So that's nice. Love being in Atlas's thoughts now and his journey, and also seeing Hera in it. I always love if retellings feature the gods in it and not just the humans. So yeah, I'll read some more now. So yeah, finished Wait, which was good. Gave it 4 stars, as you saw, and I think it is a very good read if you're interested in myth, especially Heracles and Atlas, but also Hera. These are the 3 characters that were featured the most in this book. And yeah, I can only say that it is very reflective. It also has some author inserts in there, but not a lot. Like, it's, I think, 2 or 3 times in the whole book where the author is just talking about herself. It's always connected to the myth in some way. I wasn't the biggest fan of that, but it was something that I've never read before, so that was somehow interesting. But yeah, I don't know if it was necessary for the story. And it also, the book, I mean, includes a lot of non-fiction stuff about space and soil and just planets and the future of the universe and all that kind of stuff. I like that, and it does make sense in the story, so that was cool. The ending was also nice, and yeah, loved the parts about Heracles at the end as well. This is something that I was not as familiar with, mainly the relationship with his second wife. That wasn't something that I think I've read about a lot before that. So yeah, that was cool. And yeah, just what Atlas is thinking about or doing was nice. This also spans into modern day, similar to what Margaret Atwood's book about Penelope was. And yeah, I liked it in Margaret Atwood's book and really liked it in this one as well, because it really shows how mythology is looked at over time, and yeah, just seeing what it does to the characters if time moves on and doesn't just stay in antiquity. So yeah, I can highly recommend it. And I've already started the next one. This is a short story collection, Vacations from Hell, well, it's an anthology with all kinds of authors. And yeah, I just had to read it before summer was over, because it features vacations and it has romance in it. It has some horror, I believe, in it. But yeah, I'm mostly expecting thriller and romantic stuff, to be honest. But yeah, I'll see how I like these short stories. This is part of a series with all kinds of short stories featuring different topics. I haven't read any book in that series. This is the first one. And I mean, yeah, these are the authors. And yeah, I'll just go in it blind, not knowing anything really. We have 5 short stories. So the book is like almost 300 pages long. So the stories aren't that short, but yeah, I'll talk about them whenever I finish them. I probably won't get to many of these stories now, if I even finish a single one, because, let me check, it's almost 4 a.m. So I don't think that I'll read a lot before the second day of this readathon is over. But yeah, I'll have a third day still to go, and I'm pretty confident in finishing this book. So yeah, I guess I'll see you in the morning. Hello, so it's already the third day of this vlog, and it's already dark outside, so I don't really have a lot of time left. I hope I can finish this book at least. And well, technically speaking, the 72 hours will be over at 2 p.m. in the morning of the next day. So I mean, I guess I still have time, but it will be the 1st of August at this point. But yeah, I've read the first 3 short stories, 3 out of 5. Not a lot left to read. And the first story was about 2 friends who are on a cruise ship for a few days, and there's talk about vampires killing people on different cruise ships. So we've got a little bit of murder mystery going on, and also your typical YA stuff, because the main character wants to have her first time while on board. So yeah, liked that. I think the writing style wasn't the best, but the setting was really cool in combination with vampires. That's very unique and was very intriguing, and I liked the plot. I liked the little twist at the end, which was predictable but still fun. So yeah, like that one, I would probably give it 3 stars. Then the second one by Claudia Gray, I Don't Like Your Girlfriend, was about a coven of witches, and we follow a family who is going to this beach house as a family trip, and then the main character finds out that one of the guys there is enchanted. So yeah, she's trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with that. I liked the writing style in this second story much more, but the plot wasn't the best. I like witchy stories, but this one, I don't know, it just lacked in some way. The idea was good, but it didn't have enough unique qualities to me, and it didn't have a twist at the end, which was not necessary, but it's always fun to have a twist at the end of a short story. So yeah, it was alright, probably 2.5 stars. And then the third one, The Law of Suspects by Maureen Johnson, was about 2 sisters who are on vacation for the whole of August. They are traveling alone to France to meet a cousin of theirs, and some things go wrong and they don't end up in the town that they were believed to be living for the time. So this is set in the French countryside instead, and it really reads like a gothic novel, so that was great. Great atmosphere in here, great suspense, and this is also about psychology and has some weird villagers living there, a weird story, which was kind of having a few Lovecraft vibes for me. And also we learned some French history, just a little bit, so that was nice as well. And I like this one the most out of the 3 stories so far, so I would give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. The writing was good and the plot was very nice. Again, as I said, atmosphere was great, and I liked the twist at the end, and how it all wrapped up in general was very nice. It really read like a horror book. And yep, now I have these 2 stories left by these very well-known authors. I'm really excited to read these stories. And yeah, I really need to check out what Sarah Milnowski and Maureen Johnson and also Claudia Gray also have read, and if I'm interested in any books of theirs. So I'll see if I finish the book. Or when, I should say, not if. And I finished the 4th story, The Mirror House by Cassandra Clare. This one was again about a family trip. I don't know where they went, but there's a beach nearby, and the main character is a girl, and her mother married someone, and this is the honeymoon. They are taking their kids there as well. There is a reason for it, but I don't want to spoil that now. And the new husband has a son, and yeah, I mean, the daughter and the son kind of are in love, which is something that they shouldn't be, but I mean, you can't decide whom you have a crush on or not. So yeah, it's about the family situation and also about this relationship. And then near the beach there is a strange house where a very strange woman lives, so there's that as well in it. And yeah, I enjoyed the story, but there was too much focus on all the family relationship part for my taste personally. But yeah, writing was good, plot in itself was also good, but there could have been more, as I've said, and the ending was good as well. Nothing to complain about there. And the supernatural twist was also interesting for sure. Again, as I've said, I would have loved to see more about that instead of the other parts. But yeah, all in all, a good story. I'd probably give it 3 stars, just like the first story. So yeah, it was hard to get into the story because I was still thinking about the story by Maureen Johnson. I'm thinking of giving it 4 stars now instead of 3.5, but I'm not sure yet. But yeah, it's very late now. I will probably go to sleep, which means that I will wake up when it is August. But yeah, I haven't finished the book, but it's like I don't really have much left in it. Only these few pages. So I'm thinking of just counting it. It's just 70 pages. Let's just call it a July read, even though I will have finished it tomorrow or in a few hours. But yeah, I just have to go to sleep now because I do have an appointment in the morning and I do need some sleep for that. So yeah, I'll see you when I actually finish the book. So it's almost 2 p.m. again on the 1st of August. So I don't have much time left to read, and I finished the short story, so let's talk about that. Okay, so the last story, Nowhere, Saved by Libba Bray, was a very great concept, good ending as well, similar to Maureen Johnson's story, just in the sense of it's not a very happy ending. And yeah, Nowhere Safe reminded me a little bit of The Ritual by Adam Neville, because this is about 4 friends who just graduated high school and now they are going on a vacation because they're just celebrating it, meaning that they are going on a backpacking trip throughout all kinds of countries, and the last stop is some village in Eastern Europe, which is supposed to be haunted, but there's a great festival that they want to attend. And yeah, the story starts with video footage. It's as if you, the reader, are watching a YouTube video of the main character telling you the whole story, which was a nice way to tell what is happening. And yeah, without giving away much, it's just about this village, and there's sacrifices involved, and the characters talk about diaspora. There's a forbidden forest that you're not supposed to go into. So it had really cool ideas, and the villages seemed very interesting as well. And yeah, I mean, it's very action-packed once the horror starts. Again, this is also the only story, together with The Law of Suspects, that I think are really horror. But I was surprised that even one story felt like horror, so that's great. And these stories are all very young adult, but again, I expected that, so I wasn't disappointed, but these could have been so much better if they were adult, because the concepts and the settings were very cool in every single story. And yeah, I mean, I can recommend it. There's not a single story in it that is bad, but there's also not a story in it that I really, really loved. It's quite similar to House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland in that regard, because that again was a nice concept, had an interesting fantasy setting at the end of the story, but it's just very young adult, and I couldn't really love it as much because of that. So yeah, I think if you enjoy YA horror, you could be very much interested in these stories, and also supernatural stuff like ghosts and vampires and witches. So yeah, I think I'll give the last story 3 stars as well, just because, I mean, it was more horror than other stories that I gave 3 stars, but I don't know, I just didn't like the characters very much, so the horror wasn't that impactful. Like, if anything is happening to any of the characters, I didn't care, but what was happening in general was cool. So yeah, 3 stars, which means that I gave 3 of these stories 3 stars. The first one and these 2 stories I gave I Don't Like Your Girlfriend 2.5 stars, and I'll give The Law of Suspects 4 stars. Meaning that this is the average score for the whole collection, so yeah, almost every short story collection or anthology will get 3 stars, so that's just a normal rating. And yeah, I can recommend it if you like young adult horror. And yeah, I'll see if I'm interested in any of the other books in the series. I think Vacations from Hell sounded the most interesting, but yeah, I'll check it out because there's all kinds of stuff in there. That means that we still have time to start one more book, but I won't be able to finish it. And I decided to go with a manga. So these are the 3 mangas that I physically own. I read most manga online. So yeah, these are all series that I just want to check out, see if it's something that I want to continue with or not. And I couldn't decide between these 3, so I let other people decide for me in a poll on Discord. So let's see, the voting is right here. And it's been decided. So we had these witches for Witched Atelier, and then flowers for Girl from the Other Side, and a brain for MDP Psycho. And as you can see, most people voted for Girl from the Other Side, so that's what I'll be reading. Let's find it. It's this one right here. And it's the wrong, right? Nice. No idea what this one's about, but it's very beautiful, and I've heard great things. Seems like many people like it. Let's see if I like it too. So the time's up, and I only managed to read like the first 3 chapters of The Girl from the Other Side, which isn't a lot, but I didn't have a lot of time left. So I read these 3 chapters, and so far it's really cool. I didn't expect it to have a virus or curse going around, which is always something that I love in stories. And yeah, it has a very great art style. Love that. And I like the characters and just the very dark atmosphere going on, and to see the story of this curse packed into this fairy tale book that exists in the world. And yeah, the world just keeps expanding right now. At first we only have this small village, but now there's also this guarded town where the curse isn't getting, and the curse makes people into these, well, monstrous beings. But that don't sound that dangerous. I mean, you don't die if you have it. You just can't taste anything. You don't really feel a lot. But, I mean, I didn't see anything that's very, very, very negative. But yeah, so far so good. I'm really excited to read more. And yeah, just this is how the art still looks like. Love it very much. So yeah, now I'm done. And it's time to rate all the books that I've read. So these are all of the books. I finished the last 200-ish pages in Lives of Puppets, read 150 pages in Wait, which is the whole book, like it's 150 pages long. Vacations from Hell is almost 300 pages long, and the Jack Ketchum book was around 200 pages long. And then I read 100 pages in The Girl from the Other Side, so that means that I've read almost 1,000 pages. It's like 960 or something like that in 3 days. I mean, some people read that in 24 hours. It took me 72 hours because this is a very casual readathon. I didn't pressure myself to read all the time. I worked out, I've drawn stuff, I had an appointment, and watched YouTube, spent time with my family and so on. So yeah, I didn't read the whole time, but I'm very pleased with what I actually managed to read. So if I were to rank these now, these all have very similar ratings. I would probably take Vacations from Hell and put it at the bottom, and then the Jack Ketchum book next. Jeez, this is a mess right here. And then, I mean, I can't really include The Girl from the Other Side because I haven't really finished it. So let's take that out for a second. And then next up would be Wait for sure. Jeez. And then In Lives of Puppets, which was almost 5 stars. So I think The Girl from the Other Side would be either between Wait and In Lives of Puppets, or maybe better than In Lives of Puppets. Yeah, somewhere there. So outside the weather is bad again, so it's very dark because it's raining. So yeah, as a conclusion, didn't read all of these books, obviously. I mean, it would have been great if I did, but it would have felt like work and not like a hobby anymore to just read and read and read like a machine. So yeah, I'll put all of these books back up in their shelves and conclude this video with that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, or not. I don't know. I'll see you in my next video for sure. And until then, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care, happy reading, bye!